Oh, yes, it's happening tonight live on MLB Network, 8 Eastern. Shohei Ohtani's spring debut. He's going to DH against his old employer, the Angels. It's that freeway battle. Angels and Dodgers tonight live on MLB Network. Tune in for Shohei's
I may have to watch that.
That'd be fun. And to mark the occasion, Dodgers insider David Vasse, good enough to get up early in Glendale and join us on Hot Stove. Dave, good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. Always great to be with you.
He's got the perfect posture, Dave. You look like you're taking the class photo. You know how they
He's always ready to roll, like man. He wakes up ready.
Hey, Harold, when you're a skinny fat guy, you got to have good posture.
Hey, outside the debut of Ohtani tonight, Dave, from your perspective, and you're tapped into this team like very few others, what are the biggest storylines facing the Dodgers, not so much this year, but early in spring training?
Yeah, all the attention has been on Roki Sasaki, and I think people lose sight of the fact that he's 23 years old. He's making all the same adjustments that Yamamoto and others have had to make, and it's not just about 2025. There's a long game here, and the Dodgers are going to do everything to take care of that, the long term as well as the short term. He's supposed to, or the Dodgers have mentioned that he may make his first Cactus League start on Tuesday. The other storyline is, I think we always focus on the negative, but the positive is how good Mookie Betts has looked at shortstop. He put in a lot of work all season long. Mookie told me when I saw him in November that he has never started working for the next season as quickly as he did after the parade this past offseason. He was out there with P.D. Montero in the San Fernando Valley taking ground balls at Crespi High School. He came to Glendale early to take ground balls with Chris Woodward, and he just seems a lot more confident at that position than when he was thrust into it with about a week to go before the season opened in Korea.
Yeah, you know, it's impressive what he's doing and what he's been able to do so far. I want to go back to Sasaki real quick, and then we'll move on there because we could talk about the whole roster. Everybody seems to be a star. It was talked about he went to the Dodgers and in his interviews with the different teams about wanting to get his velocity back up, and that was part of the reason he went to L.A. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah, the Dodgers have had him in the pitcher's lab a couple of different times to get a baseline of where things are at, Harold. As you know, when spring training starts, I don't believe it's a good thing to hit 100 miles an hour the first week or two.
Right.
Dave Roberts said that he was in the mid-90s when he faced some White Sox minor leaguers a few days ago. But it feels like the Dodgers are trying to find a third pitch for him because right now it's a fastball. It's a great split-fingered fastball. But just talking to guys around the team, Harold, a big part of this is confidence. He doesn't seem confident even on the backfields. He's not assured of himself. And I believe that comes with just being in a new environment and trying to figure things out.
Yeah, no, it's going to be fascinating to watch him. Hey, we were talking before we brought you in here about Freddie Freeman. He's made his first debut the other day, debuted in the spring, first game. So
yeah, and first at bat all spring, not surprising. Freddie, line drive base hit to right field, right? That was yesterday as the DH, and he's really pushing the envelope with his right ankle. It was 12 weeks ago that he had surgery on that right ankle, and he kind of surprised us yesterday when he was as candid as he was with the management of that right ankle. It's just not going away. He's going to have to manage this probably extensively for the first half of the season. He said that he's going to have aggressive treatment until the All-Star break, and there's even a possibility where he may concede sitting on a day game after a night game just to be able to be ready for not just the beginning of the season, but be able to have that right ankle ready to go down the stretch in the second half. So he did have surgery on it, but Freddie being Freddie wants to play 162, and he's managing it. He's actually trying to play out his schedule for Dave Roberts. He said yesterday he wants to play first base for the first time on Sunday because the Dodgers have an off day on Monday. So Freddie's got it all planned out for himself.
Man, it's amazing. It really makes you kind of slack-jawed over what he accomplished in the World Series, given the severity of this thing. We knew it was bad, but, man, for a guy that's missed only 26 games in the last 7 years, and as I was just told, much of that was when his son was ill, he's as close to an Iron Man as there is in the sport, and we hope he can play all 162 this year, too, or close to it. Hey, I want to ask you, did you see the big Mamadou in camp the other day with Dave Roberts? Were you there for this? Because the video is unbelievable.
I saw him. I was like, wow, this is amazing to see him as up close and personal. And man, I think Dave Roberts, I mean, he's got a loaded pitching staff. Is he trying to get another one right there? I'm not sure what he's trying to do. But yeah, that was pretty impressive. And I thought it was a funny photo where he's towering over Shohei Ohtani, who's a lot bigger than Dave Roberts.
Awesome. Hey, Dave, we appreciate you getting up early out there today, especially given the Dodgers and Angels are playing a night game. We'll be watching Shohei Ohtani's spring debut, 8 Eastern, here on MLB Network. We appreciate the visit.
Thanks, guys. See you soon. See you in Tokyo, Harold.
Yes, sir.
Regular contributor David Vasse with us. We're going to come back and talk to a guy who's turning into a regular newsbreaker. Yeah.
Right. Good morning. Good morning.
Kirsten, can I ask him a question really quick? Can we start off the sessions with a Curtis Blow rap every morning?
Oh my gosh, dude, that was 8th grade. That was 8th grade kind of in-class talent show. How I remember those lines, I have no idea.
That was good.
Thank you.
Well, totally separate conversation, but with the Karras boys, you've got Kyle with the Rockies, of course, Jared over here. I saw that he is on the schedule to pitch today. Obviously, having family in this game, with EK being a part of the baseball side, but also on the broadcast side, just how special are these moments for a family like them, and hopefully maybe an opportunity for them all to maybe see each other in this game today?
It's great. I think baseball is unique in the sense of kind of the family component, the possibilities to do something like this. I had my son take the lineup card last year when Torey Lovello allowed my son to do that, to obviously have two brothers face each other. We did this the other day with the McLeans. I had Mac in the lineup so he can play against his brother. And so, yeah, so Eric, obviously being a great Dodger, being in town right now is great. And so, it's going to be a good moment.
What type of baseball dad would you describe that EK is? Because we've seen a little bit of the anxious side on our side, but how would you describe it?
I would say more on the anxious side. It's funny is that I've talked to him, and I think I feel this way, as a dad, you're more nervous for your kid than yourself when you were playing. And so he certainly fits that description.
How long are you planning to keep Freddie in the game as the DH? More than 2 at-bats?
I think 2 is fair, and then we'll probably get Eddie Rosario taking those at-bats after. But I think 2 at-bats will suffice.
Evan's throwing a bullpen again after this. Are you cautiously optimistic that it's trending in the right direction?
I think it's just more optimistic. Everything I've heard, the recovery, his bullpens, we feel very confident. I think that we're intentionally slow playing it, but very optimistic, yes.
How different of a spring do you think this has kind of looked for Freddie, just kind of dealing with like all the ankle rehab stuff and not being able to swing as early or probably as much as he normally does, and just how he's handled that?
He's handling it as well as Freddie can handle not playing. But I don't necessarily think it's that bad of a thing. I think, given all that he's done over the last X amount of years in playing, kind of to temper or manage the workload, I just don't think it's going to be that costly. And as we get going and through spring training, we'll tally more at bats. So he'll be ready, but we just got to make sure we try to get him back to 100% before this season starts.
You've had your own iconic postseason moment. Is it just make the off season different at all? When you go through something like that and you're kind of reflecting on it, but also trying to get ready for the year. What was that like for you, and what do you think it's been like for him the last couple months?
I think that it's one of those things that in sports people really look towards moments in time. where they were at that moment in time when something special happened. I think with Freddie, he hears it. He's going to hear it every day. Certainly during the baseball season about how someone was grateful or thankful for that moment. But he just does a great job of, focusing on the job at hand, and certainly having the gratitude, that appreciation actually for what that moment did for many, many Dodger fans across the world.
Did you ever have your autograph tattooed on someone's calf like Freddie did this winter?
No, I don't think so. Not to my knowledge. Wow.
Do you have a date for Rocky's first Cactus League game?
We're thinking through potentially Tuesday. We're thinking through Tuesday, but so we're going to talk more about it. But we'll see.
That'd be in a Cactus League game.
We'll see.
With Freddie, you mentioned in the past jumping and being able to land. I saw he was taking some grounders. Do we have any sense of how he's feeling after yesterday and where he's at on that progression line?
He's progressing. I just don't think that he's quite there yet. So he's DHing. We feel good about that. He'll be off tomorrow. And then I think the question will be on Saturday, is he going to be at first base or DHing again? So we'll see. But he's progressing.
He's in the game and potentially on, the base paths. Are you going to have to remind him, like, hey,
yes,
manage the ankle?
Yes. We talked about it, and I will kind of reiterate it when he gets in the batter's box again today. Yes.
I was going to say, I think he already declared himself the first baseman for Saturday.
Is that right? Yeah, that sounds about right.
Is Shohei batting first tomorrow?
Yes.
How many at-bats does he need until the opening day?
I'm not sure. So with Shohei, I'm not sure. I know there's a number that he always takes around, and so it doesn't have to be in the Cactus League games. He's already accrued a dozen at bats on the other side, so I'm not too concerned about where he's at as far as getting at bats in a Cactus League game.
How different does his workload look this spring as he's actually pitching now again, and compared to last year when he was doing the rehab? Is it just more stuff on his plate every day?
I think there is more stuff, but you don't really feel it. I certainly don't. I think that we're still building in kind of rest and recovery days. Our staff has done a great job kind of managing the rehab, the throwing program, but also getting him ready for the hitting part of it, and making sure he still is recovering. So I think Shohei's done a fantastic job. I think our staff's done a great job. Everything I hear, everything I see, the pitching, the throwing, the arm strength, the build-up is on track. I think he looks fantastic in the batter's box, so we're in a good spot.
How much does it help him that he's sort of not the shoulder part, but the elbow stuff? He's come back from this before. He's kind of gone through this progression before.
I think it certainly helps. And also I think that certainly helps. And also we're close to he's close to being completely healthy. And so I think he's really excited about that. But yeah, going through the process before, I'm sure it's very helpful, yeah.
You mentioned before that the team is kind of trying to break up a little his hitting and pitching workloads. Is it at the point where he kind of has to mix both, in the same days at this point, or are you able to have a little separation?
Yeah, I can't really speak exactly to the crossover, but yes, so I'm sure there is some. I just can't speak to how much there is right now as far as the throwing, the pitching versus the hitting. I'm not too up to speed on that.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Yeah.
それでは次回の動画でまたお会いしましょう。ついにロサンゼルスドジャースがまた新たな一歩を踏み出した。今シーズンのスプリングトレーニングはただの調整期間ではなく新たな挑戦の始まりと言えるだろう。その中心にはもちろん大谷翔平がいる。彼の驚異的な回復力、そしてピッチングとバッティングの両方を完璧にこなす姿勢はまさに野球史に刻まれる伝説になりつつある。今 ドジャースは新たなシーズンへ向けて着実に準備を進めている。チーム全体を見ても、フレディ、フリーマンの復帰、エバン、フィリップスの安定したピッチング、そして若手の成長など、見どころが満載だ。特に、大谷翔平の投打の調整が順調に進み、フリーマンも試合への復帰に向けて一歩ずつ前進していることは、ドジャースファンにとって最高のニュースではないだろうか。大谷翔平は、すでにキャンプ内で多くの打席をこなし、リズムをつかみつつある。開幕までにはさらにコンディションを上げ、試合で最高のパフォーマンスを発揮する準備が整うはずだ。フリーマンもまた、慎重にではあるが確実に復調しており、彼が本来の力を発揮できるようになれば、ドジャース打線はさらに強力になることは間違いない。このスプリングトレーニングでは、チームのケミストリーがより深まり、新戦力とベテランが一体となって戦う姿勢が明確になってきた。開幕前の調整の段階ではあるが、チームの団結力がすでに見えてきたことは大きな希望となる。キャンプでは大谷翔平の姿を見て若手選手が刺激を受けている様子も多く見られる。彼の存在はドジャース全体にポジティブな影響を与えており、特に二刀流の挑戦を続ける姿は野球界全体にとっても特別なものとなっている。またピッチングスタッフの仕上がりも順調だ。エバン・フィリップスは今季もクローザーとしての役割を果たす準備を進めており、復帰に向けた調整も計画通りに進んでいる。大谷翔平自身もまだ投球再開の段階ではないものの、慎重にリハビリを進めながら開幕後の可能性を探っている。昨シーズン終盤の負傷からの復帰を経て再び投手としての姿を見せる日が待ち遠しい。ドジャースのスプリングトレーニングはただの調整期間ではない。この期間を通じて選手たちは新しい役割を見つけ、チームとしての結束を強め、シーズンに向けた準備を整えている。監督やコーチ陣も選手のコンディションを慎重に見極めながら、それぞれの能力を最大限に発揮できるよう調整を進めている。今年のドジャースは昨年にも増して高い目標を掲げており、ワールドシリーズ制覇という大きな目標に向けてすでに一丸となっている。このチームの躍進をリアルタイムで追いかけ、共に興奮し感動を分かち合うために、ファンの皆さんもこの旅に参加してほしい。これからのドジャースのシーズンをリアルタイムで追いかけるために、ぜひこのチャンネルを登録して最新の情報をチェックしてほしい。大谷翔平、フリーマン、ムーキー、ベッツ、クレイトン、カーショー、そして新たに加わる選手たちがどのような奇跡の瞬間を生み出していくのか、一緒に見届けよう。またコメント欄では皆さんの期待や予想をぜひ聞かせてほしい。大谷翔平のホームラン数の予想、今シーズンのドジャースの展望、さらにはチームのキープレイヤーについての意見など、どんなことでも構わない。ファン同士で意見を交わしながら、このチームの成長を見守っていければと思う。次回もドジャースの最新ニュースや注目ポイントをお届けするので、通知をオンにしておいてほしい。シーズンが始まると、試合ごとのハイライトや分析、選手たちのコメントなど、見逃せない内容が続々と配信される予定だ。開幕戦に向けて、さらに盛り上がっていこう。ドジャースの新たな歴史が今まさに刻まれようとしている。このシーズンがファンにとっても選手にとっても最高のものになることを願っている。